Welcome to the show, everybody. Mark Farzetta here. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. What a weekend we had in Philadelphia sports. What a Monday night we're going to have in Philadelphia sports. Flyers undefeated. Sixers undefeated. This is through the weekend, okay? And the Phillies re-signed Aaron Nola. Your move, Philadelphia Eagles. How about a nice little victory tonight in Monday Night Football against Kansas City Chiefs? Absolutely action-packed weekend. Welcome to the show. I'm excited. I feel you're excited. We're all excited. And a little spoiler alert, and I know I'll get to my official prediction at the end of the show, but I've been saying it. I've spoiled it already. I feel the Eagles winning tonight in Kansas City. I feel that the Eagles are going to do the damn near impossible and beat the Kansas City Chiefs and beat Andy Reid and beat that Travis Kelce character and beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium against Andy Reid after a bye week. And nobody can do that for the 25 years that Andy Reid has been coaching. They'll have to delay the celebration of Andy Reid becoming the all-time winningest coach for not just the Philadelphia Eagles, but also for the Kansas City Chiefs. How about that? No coach in the history of the NFL is the winningest coach for two different franchises. That is ridiculous. But anyway, that could happen tonight. I don't think it is, but that could happen tonight if Andy Reid gets a win. We're going to look at it all. We're going to hear from Nick Sirianni as well, because there has been a little bit of a message going on around the locker room of the Philadelphia Eagles, and that message is all about the ring. And you can't win a ring on Monday night. That was the question posed to Nick Sirianni. Tim McManus of ESPN was hearing that around the NovaCare complex last week, leading into this game during the Eagles practice sessions. You can't win a ring on Monday night. He said, there are a lot of players have been saying that. Nick, is that coming from you? It's like, I don't want to say it's coming from me, but it's coming from me. And we found out it was coming from him. But I am very excited about this. Look, a regular season game, that's fine. Everyone knows it's a regular season game. It's not a playoff game. It's bigger. It's much bigger. It's huge. It's much bigger than a regular season game. Coming out of it, you take a loss, that's just another regular season game. But I think every player in that Eagles locker room wants revenge. And it's not winning the ring on Monday night. It's nothing like that. It's all about going back to the Super Bowl and proving to yourselves that you can beat that team. Proving to yourselves that you can find a way to maybe not stop, but contain Patrick Mahomes. Finding a way to put up another 30-piece on this type of defense like he did last year, even though this defense is not the same defense as last year. Oh, my goodness gracious, what they're doing. But this is going to be a huge test. We're going to go through the 5 things that I'm looking at the most in this football game going into Monday night. We're going to talk about it all. Like I said, we're going to hear from Nick Sirianni. We're going to talk about Brian Johnson's comments last week about going up against a guy like Steve Spagnuolo and seeing what he could do to show just how good he can be as a play caller and offensive coordinator against a very experienced defensive coordinator such as Steve Spagnuolo. So we'll get into that conversation. We will get into Aaron Nola. We will get into the Sixers. We'll get into the Flyers. We'll celebrate it all on today's Farzy Show. Here's what we're going to get into first. I do want to comment. Now, I know how it generally goes here when it comes to football. Football is the lead story. I'm going to wait on football for a second here, and I just want to make sure I talk about these couple other things here. Number one is the Aaron Nola deal. Saw the news yesterday. First person I saw with it was Bob Nightingale from USA Today. Put out the story about how they were very close to a deal. The talks have heated up, and then finally they have tentatively agreed, and then Jeff Passan picked it up from ESPN, and then I saw it go out and be released by the Philadelphia Phillies, and Dave Dombrowski is supposed to talk, I believe, today about this deal. This is a phenomenal deal. This is a team-friendly deal. Now, let me just say this out of the gate. I hate long contracts. Now, what do I mean by long? Anything over 5 years, I feel should be banned. I hate anything that even I love Bryce Harper and he's awesome and he's great. And I want him here for 20 years, not just the 13 and all that stuff. But man, it can be crippling. You never know what can happen in the course of a long contract. Now, here's the rub. Are you ready for the rub? Here's the rub. Aaron Nola, here's what I learned by looking at that contract. 7 years, $172 million. Here's what I learned. At under $25 million per year, Now, that might sound like a lot, but Zach Wheeler was about $20 million when he signed his deal per. Aaron Nola made $18 to $19 million last year. So when you think about that, he's getting an increase of about $6 million per annually. And you think about that number, and then you think about the Carlos Rodon deal. Oh, the Phillies are getting Aaron Nola for free. That's what it feels like. They're getting an absolute steal. When I saw that deal, I said, Aaron Nola loves Philadelphia. He doesn't want to leave Philadelphia. He doesn't want to go to Atlanta. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. He doesn't want to go to St. Louis. Doesn't want to go anywhere else. He wants to stay in Philadelphia because there is no doubt in my mind that the Braves offered more money, that the Cardinals probably offered more money. There's no doubt that he could have gotten more money on the vast open market. But for whatever reason, he just loves being in Philadelphia, wants to stay here in Philadelphia. You love or hate Aaron Nola, you have to love that aspect because we're always looking for athletes, and we always hear this from athletes that played here in Philadelphia. Philly ain't for everybody. Philly's apparently for Aaron Nola. When I saw 7 years, 172, and I was like, hold on, sorry, I'm doing math. Oh, my goodness gracious. 25 million per? Less than? Oh, my God. Yeah, okay. Welcome to the party, pal. Because at that money, we can start talking a little bit more about how much more valuable it is to have a guy like Aaron Nola that could eat innings. And I said this throughout last season. And I've said it about Aaron Nola in the past as well. When it comes to a guy who is supposed to be a 1A, at worst a 2, and it comes to a guy who has been in the Cy Young, among the Cy Young finalists 3 times in his career, eating innings isn't the brag. The brag should be the ERA. The brag should be the whip. That should be the brag. Not giving up home runs at an alarming rate. That should be the brag. But now that you're talking about a bargain price right now of 20, I think it came out to 24.7 million per annually. That's fantastic. And I wouldn't be surprised if when more details of the contract come out, if it has the de-escalator that Bryce Harper has in his contract to the point where when push comes to shove towards the end of the deal, he's not making a whopping $27-30 million. He's making like $20 to $22 million in the final couple years of his contract. We were getting talking about a bargain. That's fantastic. So I look at it like that, and I think this is a great team-friendly deal. And look, here's the deal. No matter who comes in here and plays for any of our sports teams, I always want the contracts to be team-friendly so the team has more flexibility, so the team has more optionality. This is a very team-friendly deal. And this is going to allow the Phillies to continue to explore other avenues to make sure that they're able to bring in more arms to help them, whether they be in the bullpen, whether they bring in more bats to help them in the lineup, more gloves in the outfield, whatever the case may be. This is a very team-friendly deal, and I am all for it. I don't, any contract that's over 5 years should just be illegal. I used to work with a guy, Al Morgani. I'll shout him out. He was like, no deal should be more than 3 years. And I'm like, what? That's ridiculous. And I'm like, maybe 5. The 5 should be a long-term deal. But this is a great deal for the Phillies. It's a great deal for Aaron Nola. Actually, no, I take that back. The Aaron Nola thing, I'm like, is this the kind of deal where he tells his agent, no, I just want to be in Philly? That's fine. That's what they're going to give me. I don't care. I'm going to be a bazillionaire anyway. Yeah, I just want to stay in Philly. If that's the case, then the agent's like, oh, man, leaving so much of that 10% on the table. Damn it, man. All right, fine. We're staying in Philly. And that's it. So when I saw the deal, it's a very team-friendly deal. I couldn't believe it. I honestly thought if you go with the Carlos Rodon 27 per annually, Aaron Nola would get around at least 30 million per year annually, and he probably could have got that. So if you go over the course of 7 years, you're talking about a possible $210 million deal. No, I'm good. I'll stay in Philly. I'll stay in Philly for damn near 50 or 40 to $50 million less. Okay. All right. I guess you really like Philly. I guess you love it. I would love to hear the other contracts that have come out. Reports, and I've seen that they left more money on the table. I'd like to see the actual numbers, like 6 years at 30 million per, or 7 years at 32 million per. I'd love to see the numbers that are out there as they come out about what teams offered what. And who knows, maybe they didn't even offer that much. Maybe the Phillies did come in there with the biggest price tag and said, here you go, buddy. Biggest suitcase full of money, and just said, all right, you're staying in Philly. Okay, I'll stay. So I like the deal. I think this is a great deal for the Phillies. If you're Aaron Nola, you just really love Philly, and this is where you wanted to stay. That's where I am on it, and just hope the Phillies are not done yet, obviously. Sixers, Flyers did nothing but win over the course of this weekend, which was great. Sixers took care of business against the Atlanta Hawks. Flyers took care of business against then the Sixers also beat the Brooklyn Nets yesterday. The Brooklyn Nets uniforms, just real quick. Do you remember Wild and Crazy Kids on Nickelodeon? Were you a kid watching that? Were you a kid like me watching that as a kid? Wild and Crazy Kids? What was the guy's name? Omar? Yeah. I was watching that, and the Brooklyn Nets jerseys reminded me of Wild and Crazy Kids. The first thought I had was Rock and Jock on MTV. Rock and Jock. And then I was like, no, it's more of a Wild and Crazy Kids type vibe. But anyway, Sixers blew out the Nets. Joel Embiid didn't even have to play in the fourth quarter, which is a beautiful goal to have watching the Sixers this season. And Tyrese Maxey has now hit 4 shots from the logo this year. He's been spectacular to watch. So the Sixers get 2 wins, and then the Philadelphia Flyers, they beat the defending Stanley Cup champion, Vegas Golden Knights. Then they take care of business yesterday against the Columbus Blue Jackets. They beat the Knights, by the way, in overtime. This is one hell of a weekend in Philadelphia. Let's keep the good vibes going. All right, let's get into your Philadelphia Eagles and all they got going on today, ladies and gentlemen, in this crazy week ahead. That's all going to start tonight with Monday Night Football. First thing, I want to get into this conversation here regarding the injury report, because it has been nothing but beautiful over the last couple of days after the bye week here. We know about Dallas Goedert. Justin Evans limited. He's also going to be out. He was limited to practice, but going forward here, Grant Calcaterra, Cam Jurgens, Bradley Roby, all full participants at practice and are playing in the game tonight. This is beautiful. This is fantastic. This is exactly what we wanted to see going into this game. I also love the idea that Dallas Goedert could be back sooner than expected. That's the reason the Eagles are not putting him on IR, so he can come back as fast as possible. But then you look at these other names on there. Grant Calcaterra, great. Going to need him. You need every tight end you have on the roster right now. Bradley Roby is huge to have in the slot. Love that, obviously. Cam Jurgens, the run game since Cam Jurgens has been out is awful. Absolutely horrendously awful. I hope that this is just a matter of Cam Jurgens being out. And now him being back, all of a sudden, hey, look, DeAndre Swift's going to get the ball. That's great. Hey, look, Kenny Gainwell's going to get a little bit more space to run. All right, let's go, Kenny. Hold on to the ball. Boston Scott's going to break free. Jalen Hurts is going to be able to run up the middle for a couple of, quarterback draws for 15 yards. All right, come on. I hope that's the case. But bottom line is, I think it comes down to more scheme than it does necessarily talent on the offensive line. Because the majority of offensive linemen that we've seen rotate in and out over the years, and even over the last 3 years with Nick Sirianni as the head coach of this football team, Jeff Stoutland and Stoutland University has just had these guys ready to go. Next man up, plug and play. Go out there and block, create a hole, let the running back run through it. Very simple. Sui Opeta, Tyler Steen, both better run blockers than they are pass blockers. Why not give them the opportunity to run block a little bit more and give them the opportunity to spring a running back, spring Jalen Hurts, whoever it might be? Why not give them that opportunity? It did feel like, as you were watching over the last 5 weeks of the season, the Philadelphia Eagles not have that fire to the run game, not stick with the run game. Not working early, abandon it. And then in case of emergency, they break glass at the end of the fourth quarter. I would love for this run game to return. In this game in particular, it's one of the number one things I'm going to be looking at in this game tonight. They have to be able to stick to the run. I know the Kansas City Chiefs offense has not been nearly as explosive as they have been in years past. They're averaging a full touchdown fewer per game. Last year, they were one of the top scoring teams in the NFL, top scoring team in the NFL. And then now they're bumped down to 15th in the NFL. That's not good. That's not good even a little bit. This is not the explosive team that we have seen before. But that doesn't mean that Patrick Mahomes can still blow the cover off a game at any given moment. I would love for the Eagles to be able to control the clock, take the crowd out of the game, and be able to control the game. I think the only way they really do that is with the run game. Other than a long, sustained first possession, I think the only way you're going to consistently keep the crowd out of the game, keep momentum on your side, is by being able to run the football. So Cam Jurgens coming back for this game is fantastic. Having a healthy running back room is fantastic. The only way I see the Eagles keeping control of this football game is by running the football. If this comes into a shootout, it's crazy. Offensively, I think the Eagles have the weapons to win a shootout. The only problem is defensively, the Kansas City Chiefs are stacked. So I don't know if this is going to turn into that shootout that people are talking about. Right now, I look at this team, I look at this game, and I look at how the Eagles can deploy their running backs for this one. And that, to me, will be the key to victory, is being able to run the football. The other thing I'm going to be looking at in this game is overall, I would like them to run the football. I still think this offense is going to default to a passing offense, as we always see it default to. I need Jalen Hurts in the second half of this year to be all over it, and it's going to start with this game. Jalen Hurts, I never look at and be like, oh, he's lost focus. Like, it's never been a thing. One time against the Jets, after he threw the interception, the only time I looked at Jalen Hurts on the sidelines and been like, is he pouting? He might be pouting. Maybe he was just pissed off. I don't know. It's all interpretation. It's the only time I ever looked at him and be like, ugh, don't like that look. I feel like more than any other game, because it's the Kansas City Chiefs, because it's Patrick Mahomes, because it's a rematch of Super Bowl 57, and quite frankly, possibly a rematch of Super Bowl 58. This Philadelphia Eagles team and their quarterback are going to have that laser focus that we talk about so often. This isn't just another game. As I was saying in the open, this is the Super Bowl rematch. This is primetime Monday Night Football. And above all else, even more important than any of it, this is an opportunity to have another measuring stick game against one of the other best teams in the NFL. You went up against the Miami Dolphins. You handled your business against the Miami Dolphins. Now you're going up against a team, and by the way, just one game of the next 5 that we all know the gauntlet, blah, 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 blah. We all know. It's another measuring stick game to see how good you really are. Not one that you're just holding on to beat the Commanders. Not one where Dallas is choking it away, but it's another measuring stick game to see how you measure up against one of the all-time winningest coaches in the history of football in general, not just the Eagles and Chiefs, and how you measure up against one of the best quarterbacks ever in Patrick Mahomes. That's what it is. So it's a huge test for Sean Desai. It's a huge test for Brian Johnson going up against Steve Spagnuolo. It's a huge test for Jalen Hurts. And I'm going to be watching Jalen Hurts closer than ever in this particular game, because this is a big game. This is the big game on the schedule. You looked up and down the schedule when it came out. This was the game that most people circle first. I understand the Cowboys always take precedent, but no. In the grand scheme of things, this is the game that's not only going to be a Super Bowl 57 rematch, but the preview of Super Bowl 58. Great potential there. So Jalen Hurts, obviously going to be looking at him today, throwing against this secondary, a great secondary that has anybody out there that could basically – I mean, interceptions aren't a big deal for this defense. I think the 4 guys are tied with 1 on the season. But when it comes to just overall coverage, they can handle the business as far as that's concerned. When it comes to the third thing I'm going to be looking at this, I mentioned the run game. I mentioned Jalen Hurts. To me, it's other than running the football and controlling the clock, the defensive line in this game, and I've been saying it all week, last week leading into this is going to be the biggest microscope. If the field at the Super Bowl was really more of an advantage for the Kansas City Chiefs, which I believe it was, most of the pressure came from the interior. The Eagles' pressure comes from the exterior, comes from the DNs and the edge rushers. If that was really a factor, then I need to see Hassan Reddick go out there and eat. I need to see Josh Sweat go out there and eat. And that needs to happen tonight. Control the ball, control the clock with the run game, and get after Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying blitz every play. I don't want to see another guy out of coverage to try to disrupt Patrick Mahomes. I'm talking about guys winning their one-on-one battles on the outside. That's what I'm going to be looking for. I want to see Hassan Reddick getting that edge and being able to get into the backfield and at least disrupt the timing of the play with Patrick Mahomes. Hey, I'd love a sack. Oh, my goodness gracious, I'd love a sack. I'd love a sack fumble. Oh, my, I would love to get that big play that you didn't get in the second half of the Super Bowl. And that, to me, was the biggest difference between the Eagles winning the Super Bowl 5 years prior and the Eagles losing the Super Bowl 5 years later. That was the biggest difference to me. That 2017 team, you know what they did? They caused fumbles. They got interceptions. They made the big play to help ice games. That defensive unit made the big play to ice games. The team last year, not so much. At least not in the Super Bowl. I do feel like it's going to be a close game. And I feel it's going to come down to a play or two. That's going to be the deciding factor. Eagles force that turnover. They make something big happen defensively. They're going to win this game. The other thing, and it bleeds into the run game. I do want to see Cam. I just want to see Cam Jurgens look healthy. I want to see this offensive line play together at the high level that we have seen them play at in years past. Jordan Mailata, as a left tackle, coming out talking about how he's going to take this game personally. Good for you. Whatever extra added motivation, excuse me, you're going to need in this game, have at it. Shouldn't need much. I don't think there's anything more personal than a team taking away the biggest possible win of your life. I don't think there's any more personal than that. So go out there. No, it's business. It's not personal. Oh, sometimes personal leads into business, and business leads into personal. So have at it there, big fella. So obviously going to be watching this offensive line tonight. Cam Jurgens in particular, and I want to see just how personal Jordan Mailata has taken it. Lastly, and I feel like it's going to be a huge thing here, especially going up against the pass rush, by the way, of the most importantly, sorry, I left that out. Kansas City Chiefs, again, they have 31 sacks this season. The Eagles have 30. Last year, the Eagles were number 1 in sacks. Kansas City Chiefs were 2. Chiefs come into this game, I believe, ranked 5th in the league. Eagles have obviously, they're tied for 5th or 6th. So coming into this game, they're very even as far as that goes. But that's where the Chiefs generate a lot of their success. That's where they get a lot of their success on that defensive line. So the offensive line has to play top notch. Cam Jurgens is coming back after being on the IR, and he's being thrown right into the Wolves. I mean, fortunately, he had a week off where maybe he could have played a week ago if the Eagles played. He has an extra week. That's great. But that's going to be a huge test tonight, this Eagles offensive line. And we don't talk about it enough because we often just take it for granted. But now, looking at this Eagles team and seeing what they can do in this game, this is going to be a huge test for this offensive line, especially with Cam Jurgens coming back. I want to see how healthy he is. Finally, and this is the biggest thing from the bye week. Other than healthy, the biggest thing I talked about the bye week was Kevin Byard just getting acclimated to Philadelphia. Not the city, but the playbook. His teammates build that chemistry. Because Kevin Byard has not at all looked like a 2-time All-Pro. He has not looked like a 2-time Pro Bowler. He hasn't looked like a guy that was going to be he hasn't looked like the guy that we thought was going to be a big impact on this defense. I'd like this game to be that game. So whether he's coming down to cover Travis Kelce, whether they throw the smorgasbord at Travis Kelce to try to cover him, however they're going to do it, however Sean Desai is going to operate it, I'm going to go ahead and assume that Kevin Byard is going to be is going to have a huge game tonight. Is going to be put in a position, I should say, to have a huge game tonight. I hope he has a huge game tonight. But just as far as being put in the position to do so, I need to see the guy that the Eagles traded for and we were all excited about. It's amazing to me, again, that a year ago, a week before the season, you could trade for a new safety in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and all of a sudden, he's playing at a Pro Bowl level. He's leading the league in interceptions with 6. Like, it's insane to think about it. For me, I need to see this Eagles secondary get back to that kind of level with their safety and Kevin Byard. Reed Blankenship in coverage has left a lot to be desired. Coming up to play aggressive, be the end of a play, that's been fine. Coverage has obviously been a little bit of a weakness there. Kevin Byard coming here, this needs to be the coming out party. This needs to be, welcome to the Eagles, Kevin Byard. This needs to be that kind of game. Those are the 5 most important things about tonight's football game. The storylines going into it write themselves. I'm sorry if you didn't happen to catch who had it. Entertainment Tonight. I'm sorry if you didn't catch that. I'm sorry if you didn't see it on. Was it TMZ had it too? Taylor Swift even put it out on her Instagram, on her stories, her Instagram stories. Yes, that's right. Now I follow Taylor Swift on Instagram. But for me, Taylor Swift, I'm sorry to tell you this. Taylor Swift will not be there tonight. I don't know if the parents are still going to be there. The Kelsey parents, Donna, and I'm blanking on the father's name. And then Mr. and Mrs. Swift. The only Swift Kelsey on the field in this game will, of course, be DeAndre and Jason. And that's their boo. Anyway, Taylor Swift had to postpone her concert. Wow, I know this because I follow football. I wouldn't even know Taylor Swift was on her Eras tour if it wasn't for this. Anyway, she's in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, and she postponed her concert Saturday night to tonight, so she can't be there. She can't be in KC. She's going to be in Buenos Aires. Or, no, she's going to be in Rio de Janeiro due to extreme temperatures. And it's no laughing. Excuse me. It's no laughing matter. Somebody died of heat exhaustion, I believe, at the concert. So she postponed her Saturday concert and she pushed it to Monday. All tickets are valid in case you were going down to Rio de Janeiro and now you can't watch the Monday Night Football game. But so she's not going to be there tonight. I don't know if her parents are going to be there or not. I guess we'll just have to watch. I know you guys will be waiting with great anticipation. Outside the lines here, Nick Sirianni addressed the media yesterday, and he talked about a couple of different things. The importance of Dallas Goedert, the importance of Dallas Goedert not going on IR, would not give the timetable, but we know that it could be within those 4 weeks, which would be great. Them not putting him on IR obviously hints to that. He was asked about his time in Kansas City, his last year there, how rough it was, and he joked about it. I was like, yeah, thanks for bringing it up. That was pretty rough. But he says it's no more important to him. That's all in the past. It doesn't really matter to him about his previous time in Kansas City. But I think the most interesting thing was this little tidbit, because I think what Nick Sirianni does better than most coaches is find that little nugget of motivation. And even if it's not motivating, it could be just the right direction to give the team to not steer them off course, to not lose focus on a game. A coach, it's not about being a motivator that's the most important thing. It's about overall being a good communicator, a great communicator. I think Nick Sirianni is a great communicator. And he comes out in this press conference, and Tim McManus, and I alluded to this earlier, Tim McManus apparently had heard a couple of Eagles use the phrase, you can't win a ring on Monday night. That's coming straight from the top. That's coming straight from Nick Sirianni. Here he is with that mindset that he's trying to instill in his players.
A couple players this week say you can't win a ring on Monday night. Sounds like it's being echoed. Did that come from you? And if so, what's the significance?
Yeah, we just talking here and everything like that. But yeah, I mean the sentiment of like, they're not giving us their ring back if we beat them this week. I mean, that's more of like, hey, we're not going up there to win the Super Bowl. We're going up there to play a good football team at a hostile environment and looking to get better this week to put ourselves in position to go 1-0 this week. And so, again, the message, I wouldn't say that's been the message we talked about. We've all talked about that, this game is a regular season game but every regular season game that we play means a lot to us, and we got to go up there with our best foot forward to play against a really good team. But yeah, I mean, so again, it's just that whole mentality of like, make sure you're getting yourself up for every single game and doing the right things every single game because they're all important, and this one's the most important because it's the next one.
All right. Okay. That's all true. Good for him saying all the right things. But I still think it's the most important thing that comes out of that is that, hey, guys, don't overexert yourself. Don't take your eye off the prize of just winning this game because you feel like you have to win 2 games in 1. That's what that means to me. And I think that's the best way mentally you can approach this game for your team. You're not going to win the Super Bowl on Monday night. You're not going to win last year's Super Bowl. They're not going to go, oh, damn, the Eagles won on Monday night the following year, collect all the confetti, bring it over there to Arrowhead Stadium and start letting it fly over the Eagles. Sorry, we meant to do this last year, but you lost. But since you win on Monday night, you get all this confetti now. That's not how it's going to go. I think there's no better message to give your team. You're not playing against two Kansas City Chiefs teams. You're playing against one. You're not playing against the 2022 Chiefs. You're playing against the 2023 Chiefs. Don't try to play both teams tonight. Don't do that. Don't do that. Play the game tonight, win the game tonight, and then run through, oh my God, it's so sorry. Oh my God. Then run through the rest of them. Buffalo, by the way, big bounce back win for Buffalo last night. I mean, it was against the Jets, but the Eagles lost to the Jets. And the Buffalo lost. Well, Buffalo lost to the Jets opening night. So, scusi. Well, it's just say opening night, but you know what I mean. The 49ers won again. Dallas won again. Dallas, by the way, after yesterday's game, check this out. I want to go around let's go around the league real quick here. Dallas won again yesterday. They had fun toying with the Panthers before putting them away. So here's what the Cowboys have this week. They have the Commanders at home, Seahawks at home, Eagles at home, then at Buffalo, at Miami, host the Lions, and then the Commanders again. As of right now, according to ESPN analytics, the Cowboys have a 23% chance to win the NFC East. I do not have the numbers there for the Eagles just yet, but I would assume it's higher, being that they're in first place and they're a better team, and they've already beaten the Cowboys and they've beaten the Commanders twice. So I would assume it's higher. But one thing that does stick out to me about that game is Cowboys put it away two ways. CeeDee Lamb got a touchdown reception. Dak Prescott actually looked good in the game. And then the other thing, I mean, he's having a good year as long as he doesn't play the Eagles or teams that matter. And DaRon Bland continues to have one of the most historic seasons ever by a defensive back. 4 pick sixes now on the season. That ties the NFL record. And he got it yesterday, of course, against the Carolina Panthers. Tony Pollard got a touchdown. That was an incredible touchdown run by Tony Pollard. If you didn't watch that game against the Panthers, I don't blame you, but I watched. And Tony Pollard ran like a beast to get that touchdown for himself. And I think at that point, he had drawn even with DaRon Bland for touchdowns on this season. And then DaRon Bland, excuse me, DaRon Bland goes and gets a pick six. I'm like, I still have more than the running backs. It's insane the season he is having. If you just appreciate football, forget the star on the helmet for a second, it's pretty impressive. But yeah, so pretty much everybody won yesterday. Everybody won. The Detroit Lions continue to be a team that looks like a force to be reckoned with here. They were down yesterday. What was that score at the time? They were down 12 points. I know that. With 3 minutes to go, and they came back to win the game. They were down 26. Yeah, they were down 26-24 with a little over 3 minutes left in the game. Detroit engineers a 6-play, 75-yard drive. They get a stop, and they make it 26-21. They get a stop. Then David Montgomery caps off an 11-play drive that eats up only 2 minutes and 4 seconds, and he puts them up 26-29. Then Justin Fields fumbled the ball. It goes out of bounds for a safety. They kicked it out of bounds, more like it. And the Detroit Lions end up getting the 31-26 win. The Detroit Lions are now 8-2 on the season. So another reason for the Eagles to win tonight would be that you don't want to match. You don't want to match records right now with the Lions. You still want to be better than the Detroit Lions. Obviously, goes without saying. But that's where we're at right now, ladies and gentlemen. That's where we're at. Get excited. Boy, that's where we're at. I'm going to get into the chat check in just a second, but let me tell you right now about the great people, the incredible people at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Take advantage of all that MyBookie has to offer right now with MyBookie.ag. That's MyBookie.ag. Right now, use promo code FARZI. That's promo code FARZI for all they have to offer, including a cash deposit bonus up to $1,000. So if you like the Birds tonight, plus 2.5 in Kansas City, take advantage at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. All the Thanksgiving turkey games coming up here. Make sure you handle it all with MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Skip the arguments with Uncle Dave on Thanksgiving. I'll focus on what really matters. Good food, boosted odds, and hitting those turkey day parlays at MyBookie. Picture this. Not just watching games, but turning every second into a potential win with MyBookie. You can stream the games, you can bet live, and you can turn any game day into a big payday. Huh? At MyBookie. Ready for the game? Sign up today. Make your first deposit with promo code Farzy. That's promo code Farzy for your sweet deposit bonus of up to $1,000. Yeah, that's real. Promo code Farzy to claim your bonus. It isn't just a promo code. It's your secret weapon to get the edge on the house. The best part is you don't even need to be a sports whiz to win at MyBookie. You can just cash in on everything from politics, how about that, to your favorite shows and then some. Bet on anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. Let's get into the chat check. I'm going to start it over on the Farzy Show page because I'm running the show today, folks. So I can push buttons over here. Did I get this? Is this it? Yeah! Wine Niners Wine. Good morning. Sean Gillespie, good morning. Sean Kilrain, good morning. Sean Gillespie, not to overpay Nola. Wise decision given his past history. I concur. The bigger shock to me, by the way, the bigger shock to me here is that Aaron Nola took less than $25 million. First off, the bigger shock is that he took less than $30 million. The other shock is he took less than Rodon, and he took less than $25 million. I ain't mad. Sports are weird in that 7-year deals are a thing, 13-year deals are a thing. I just look, that's the way it is. So I'm not going to get pissed off at it, but that's the way it is. So 7 years, but less than 25, yeah, I'm in. Everyone's happy. Chiefs do look different without Bieniemy. This is from Sean Gillespie, the receivers especially, but our secondary doesn't inspire confidence yet. No, this is a big prove-it game for the secondary. I know I highlighted and singled out Kevin Byard, but the entire secondary. And having Bradley Roby back for this game, it's not like it changes the complete outcome of the game, but I'll say this. I don't think we'll have to see Sidney Brown in the slot. I don't think we're going to have to see James Bradbury in the slot. I don't think we're going to have to see Eli Ricks in the slot. What's really upsetting about the Eli Ricks situation, before I get the other comment there by Sean, what's upsetting about the Eli Ricks situation is that he really helped shut down Tyreek Hill in the Dolphins game. Played him really well, and then CeeDee Lamb ate, man. He ate. He went out there and dominated in that particular game. DeVito Mania is about to start in New York. Oh, my goodness gracious. How do I not mention Tommy DeVito? We had a family weekend. The Italian side of the family was over. We were having this great time. And, of course, we're talking about Tommy DeVito. And it was like, just being named Tommy DeVito from North Jersey, you've done enough. You've done enough for our people. But then, you mentioned the chicken cutlets and living at home and all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, even more identifiable. And then you know what? He goes out there with a win over the Commanders, 31-19. The numbers for Tommy DeVito, 18-26 for 246 yards and 3 touchdowns for a 137.7 passer rating in the game. Have yourself a day, Tommy DeVito. You go get yourself some chicken cutlets. Make sure mom's hammering them out real thin. Real thin, nice breading. I was making chicken cutlets this weekend, as a matter of fact. I made my family's chicken cutlet sandwich with the roasted peppers and the sharp provolone, extra sharp provolone cheese, a little broccoli rabe, marinated a little balsamic vinegar, a little olive oil, a little garlic, marinate overnight, a little steam job right there on the old frying pan, and then boom, on the sandwich. Oh, man, on a seeded roll. Forget about it. Oh, beautiful thing. Thinking of you, Tommy DeVito. Anyway. So he beat the Commanders, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So congratulations to the Giants. Eagles, what do we got? ECW. Wow. Take me back. What's up? Eagles need this game if they lose. Common opponents. Tiebreaker puts the Lions in the driver's seat for the number 1 seed. I concur. There's still. I don't believe. First off, I think must-win game is one of the most overused phrases in all of sports. In all of sports. Somebody was calling it a must-win game, Sixers versus the Celtics. I forget who. And I was just like, oh, gross. That was my reaction to seeing that on social media. Oh, gross. I really want the Eagles to win this game. I think the Eagles, above any other game on the schedule, really want to win this game. Yes, it would be really nice if they won this game, and you could still put the Lions in the rearview mirror a little bit. Now, real quick on the Lions, I gave you the Cowboys' remaining schedule. Here it is on the Detroit Lions, their remaining schedule. Ready for this? Packers on Thanksgiving. Go to New Orleans. Go to Chicago. Host the Broncos. At Minnesota, who lost a heartbreaker to the Broncos last night. And then at the Cowboys at the end of the season. People are telling me it's a really easy schedule. For the most part, it is, but anytime you play the Packers in that division, obviously it's going to be tough. But then going to New Orleans, going to Chicago, Broncos all of a sudden look like a team that you don't want to mess with. At Minnesota, at Dallas. And then they got the Vikings again. Excuse me. They're for the last game of the season against the Vikings. Vikings are going to be playing for playoff lives over the next 8 games. Rather interesting. Rather interesting. But yeah, it's a very big game. It goes without saying. That's it. No Taylor Swift, no football. Inconceivable. Inconceivable. Hey, good morning. Fly Eagles fly. Go Birds. If Taylor Swift is out, that means Gainwell and Penny are the running back options. God. Sorry, guys. Q102 banning Taylor Swift music ahead of the game is hilarious. It is hilarious. I do love it. Hey, I'm sure not the real Kenny Gainwell, but what's up, Kenneth Gainwell? Taylor Swift is there. She's not going to be there, bro. Not going to be there. Hey, the Eagles players are human. Separating last year's Chiefs from this year's Chiefs will be almost impossible to do. I know. Here's the head coach one more time.
Players this week say you can't win a ring on Monday night. Sounds like it's it's being echoed. Did that come from you? And if so, what's the significance?
Yeah, we just talking here and everything like that. But yeah, I mean the sentiment of like they're not giving us their ring back if we beat them this week. I mean that's.
And there's the head coach trying to drill it in their heads. Best way to do it. You ask me. Oh, April. You know what I did, actually? April, and you're right. Cold chicken cutlet. Like there is something amazing about cold pizza, and there's something amazing about a cold chicken cutlet. Like that the day before, it's like, oh, it's so good. But then if you have it the day after it's a little cold, right? For some reason, it's a similar hit. That's what I'll say. By experiencing something totally different, it's a similar hit. The hot and the cold. It has its own allure to it. But I'll tell you what I did yesterday, okay? So I had some leftover broccoli rabe. I had some leftover, chicken cutlet sandwich, right? The seeded roll. You know what I did? I put it in the air fryer. I put the sandwich in the air fryer with the broccoli rabe on it, okay? And I put down a little bit of aluminum foil just so the excess balsamic vinegar and oil wouldn't drip, you know what I mean? So I put that down in the air fryer. When I tell you that the air fryer, for what it did to the broccoli rabe on the sandwich, let alone what it did to the bread just to make it a little extra crispy again, it was a thing of beauty. I have very little self-control when it comes to food. If I walk past it at the supermarket, if I walk past it at the store, whatever, if I walk past it, that is the height of my self-control. The minute it's in the house, this is why I give away like any excess Halloween candy, because if it's in the house, I'm eating it. That's just how it goes. So I limit myself to one little small sandwich. And I was like, oh, there's so much left, and I don't want it to go to waste. That's a sin. You can't let it go to waste. So I put a little in the air fryer. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What it did to the broccoli rabe, to the balsamic vinegar on the broccoli rabe. Oh, man. Forget about it. But, yeah, I agree. Sean Gillespie, what's going on? Minnesota lost last night, but damn, had to go to bed. Yeah, pretty insane game. Mihai Sanchez, go Eagles. Anybody ran the Philly Marathon this weekend? I'm in a lot of pain. Oh, Mihai, you ran? Good for you. Run like the wind. Wine, Niners, wine. How many years have the Chiefs had the hardest schedule and still a number one seed? No excuses for the Eagles. You want to be the best, you have to beat the best. You want to be the man, you got to beat the man. Sean Gillespie, air fryer is my main cooking utensil. I love air fryers. Air fryers are where it's at, man. You know what's really good? Nachos in the air fryer. If you ever have leftover nachos, which sometimes I do because sometimes my eyes are bigger than my stomach, I have a little leftover nacho. You know what I'm saying? A little leftover nacho. Roby is playing tonight. Hopping over to the Jacob Media YouTube page. What's going on? Blankenship has been great in stopping the run. I agree. Coverage, and not so much. No, Andy will take them out for a burger if they win. That's funny, Kevin. What's up? Johnny Bottles. What's up, Johnny Bottles? Good morning. Casey Barbecue sucks. Go Birds. One thing Nick Sirianni did admit to was that he is a what is he? He's a guy. He's a what are they called? Jack Stacks guy. I'm a Gates guy. I've had Jack Stacks. I like Gates Barbecue if you're ever in Kansas City. Greetings and salutations, Forrest. What's up, Brian? I'm over on the Jacob Media page. So let's go, Birds! Heading to Mo now? What? You're the man for... Oh, Steve, very nice. Nice to see you. Go, Birds, Eagles, and Cardinals. Let's talk football, not Phillies or Sixers. You got it. Game day, baby. What's happening? Jimmy Hoffa. 5 in a row for the Fly Boys. Seriously need to bring back Rock and Jock with the 4-point basket. How about the 25-point basket? Tyrese Maxey be dropping it. Cam was destroying people when he went out. Pancakes. I know, Steve. I want to see it again. Terry, game day. So ready for it. Going to be a good day. Get to work 2 hours. Go to sleep. Wake up. Going to watch the Eagles beat the Chiefs. My prediction is 33-30. Go Birds. I'm in your ballpark, Terry. Consistency, O-line. Need that. Absolutely. You low on espresso this morning? No. Now I've had my espresso. I'll have a little bit more a little bit later in the day. That's for sure. A little bit more a little bit later in the day. Wait, Rocky? Nothing like a Rocky reference before 7 a.m.? Did I let out a Rocky reference? It probably did. I probably did. Ladies and gentlemen, here is my official prediction for the Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs for tonight. I think Cam Jurgens being back, it's not going to be enough to make the Eagles have a dominant run offense like they did in weeks 2 and 3 and 4 this season. But I think it will be enough to where DeAndre Swift will have another 100-yard game. Rushing. That's not total yards. That's rushing. I think if the Eagles do that, I think they're going to lock up this win. Your edge rushers win their battles, which I expect them to win tonight. They're going to lock up the win. The Eagles have their secondary, and a guy like Kevin Byard, for instance, playing on top of his game tonight. The Eagles are going to win. The offensive line holds their ground and makes sure that the Kansas City Chiefs aren't getting into the backfield. Then they're going to win the game tonight. Those are 4 main components that the Eagles are going to need to win. The one that I didn't talk about yet is the coaching aspect of this. Steve Spagnuolo, I mentioned him taking on Brian Johnson. That is a big mismatch as far as I'm concerned. The talent of this Eagles team is going to have to overcome, I think, coaching. This will be the test for the Eagles. I think they pass that test tonight. I think the Philadelphia Eagles win this game by a score of 28-25. It's going to be a weird one. Rain is in the forecast. Last I looked, It's not going to be the prettiest thing in the world. Without that rain, I would definitely go over the 30 mark. But I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win this game. I think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be comfortable. It's going to come down to the last couple of plays of this game. But I see the Eagles winning this game. 28-25 in a really weird game. Eagles are going to win this. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Much appreciated. Have your guys a wonderful rest of your day. Hey, I'll be back with the Birds 365 guys at 9:20 today. So don't miss that. Also, bonus me today coming up on Fox 29. Coming up at 7:45. So make sure you check me out there as well. Have a great rest of your day. Jim Hyder produced the program. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Also, don't forget about our great friends there at Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. And also, don't forget about the wonderful people at PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs at phlsportsnation.com. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Talk to you guys in about 2 hours, and then talk to you tonight for Jacob Media's Eagles game day coverage from Atlantic City, the amazing Ocean Casino. See you guys there. Bye.